Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? Hello. Hello, hello, hello. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing just fine and dandy today. Yes, this is Life Under Trump, part 147. Yes, Life Under Trump, part 147. That's the word we're covering today. Corruption and how he's a bully and how the Oval Office is nothing but a crime mob. That's what I see it as, a crime mob. Life Under Trump, part 157. We got a lot to cover. Get in here. Get in here. Come on, get in here. Hit that like button as you coming in. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can send me super chat and super stickers. Also, my Venmo is in my description. You can send me something through Venmo, and my PayPal link is in the description as well. This is Life Under Trump, part 147. Come in, come on in, come on in. Hit that like button. Hello, Queen Victorious One. Hello, King Allen. How are you doing, my friends? My beautiful kings and queens, how are you all doing today? I hope you're doing very well. It's a lot going on in the world of under Trump. I feel, in my opinion, that his cabinet is nothing but a bunch of crime mob people. America today is not a familiar place to us. It is a place where ICE, who are probably more than likely J6ers, the KKK, and Proud Boys out there being ICE, and they just targeting people at this moment because they get paid a certain amount of money, because they're just like the police officers. You have to make so many arrests to make a certain amount of money. So they're just going after anybody. They even attacking the Democratic Party, arresting their staff. That's how bad Donald Trump has made it for America. That bad. Things are pretty bad in America. America is not a safe place anymore due to Donald Trump is in the Oval Office. He has ICE tackling down women on the ground without even letting them know what's going on. You just knock them down on the ground, handcuff them, and don't explain to them what's going on. This is Life Under Trump, part 157. Donald Trump is nothing but the devil. But the safest place in the whole wide world is in the will of God and in God's hands. But long as Donald Trump is in that Oval Office, more black and brown people will be targeted. Trump does not like black people. Trump does not like brown people. His desires is to destroy black and brown people in America. Yeah, they wear masks because they don't want to reveal who they are. ISIS, in my opinion, J6ers, the KKK, and Proud Boys. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to show you something because it's going to talk about what ICE is doing today. Nobody is safe in America. Donald Trump, the monster in the Oval Office, is targeting black and brown people. We're not safe in America. So Donald Trump, how are you going to tell South Africa what to do when your country is in scrambles? Because it's you, Donnie. You're the problem. You're the giant green monster attacking.
The White House Deputy Chief of Staff is furious that ICE isn't ramping up its deportation efforts fast enough and is demanding that ICE officers start arresting, detaining, and deporting people from Home Depot, from 7-Eleven, from wherever they could find undocumented immigrants. According to the Washington Examiner, which just published a bombshell piece, Stephen Miller and the White House summoned ICE agents, ICE officials, to the White House for a conversation about immigration enforcement activities. One of the officials recited, quote, "Stephen Miller wants everybody arrested. Why aren't you at Home Depot? Why aren't you at 7-Eleven? Miller said, quote, "What do you mean you're going after criminals?" Meaning he wants everyone, not just criminals, arrested, even though the White House has consistently said that it will be focusing its deportation efforts on undocumented migrants who have criminal
The criminals are in the White House
for a criminal violation. Just be aware that they're ramping up. And it's coming. So spread the word. I'll provide you an update every step.
Yes, spread the word. Everything I'm showing you is fair use and for educational purposes and great for research. This is really sad. America is not a safe place. As long as Donald Trump is in that Oval Office, America is not a safe place for black and brown people. Black and brown people are the only ones being targeted by the MAGA Republican Party. MAGA is a cult. MAGA is a terroristic group. Why are you not targeting white people? Because Donald Trump wants a white America, but they so dumb. He's not even thinking about, we need the people at Home Depot. We need the people that's working the fields, plucking our fruit and vegetables so we can eat. Donnie, you're dumb. Your mother never thought much of you. So you're punishing the entire world because you could never make your mother happy. You just a crime mob boss like your father. And it goes down your bloodline. You're a sorry excuse for a man, Donald Trump. Your wife don't even want you. So this is what I feel about this whole thing, because you're going to see that the Democrat Party, one of their staffers, being arrested by ICE. This is how bad Donald Trump has gotten. God, take him now. I don't care. Any means necessary, God. Get Donald Trump out that Oval Office. He got to go. This man is the biggest criminal, but having ICE attack people saying they are criminals. But you're not even telling them or reading their rights. You're just knocking them down and taking them out of here. And you're only doing it because they are black and brown people.
No, she did not. That is not what happened.
Okay.
What?
She has not committed any crimes, y'all.
You're okay. You're okay. You're gonna be okay.
The police is not for you anymore, black and brown people. The police and ICE are against you as well. Pay attention, black people. These demons are only attacking black and brown people. Donald Trump is against black and brown people. Donald Trump hates black and brown people.
Okay.
This lady has not committed any crimes.
Gotcha. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. You're gonna be okay.
Black and brown people are under attack in America. There's a black genocide in America. There is a brown genocide in America. This lady works in the Democrat Party. She works at a Democrat senator, congressman's office. Donald Trump is purposely doing this, but what we're going to do, we're going to vote them out of there. We will be voting all of those Republicans out of office. We're tired. The American people are tired of Donald Trump and his goonies attacking black and brown people. The biggest criminal in America is Donald J. Trump. You can't find a bigger criminal in America than Donald J. Trump. He has more against him than P. Diddy. Donald Trump has 34 felonies. And because he's a criminal himself, he just may pardon P. Diddy. And I second everything this man is going to say. Donald Trump hates black people. Donald Trump hates brown people.
Donald Trump, not out of praise, but out of truth. Because while you rip through every part of this government, tearing down justice, equality, and fairness under the fake excuse of fighting DEI fraud, what you're really doing is confirming what black folks have been saying for generations. America was built on racism, fueled by fear and sustained by white supremacy. You've exposed it all. The masks are off. The polite racism, the fake allyship, the colorblind lies, it's all gone. Now we see it raw and unfiltered. You're not just targeting policy, you're targeting people, black people, brown people, marginalized communities, and the wild part. We make up the smallest portion of this country, yet somehow we are the biggest threat to the lie that white supremacy built. That should tell you everything. You're afraid not of violence, not of replacement, but of the power we hold even when we have nothing. You see the way our culture, our brilliance, our resilience, our excellence continues to shape this country, even when it tries to erase us. Donald Trump is just the loudest version of a system that's always been in place. He is the living, breathing proof that this country was never designed with us in mind. And yet, we continue to define it. So thank you, Donald, for exposing what so many tried to deny, for showing the world that the fear of Black greatness is real, for proving that racism isn't in our imagination, it's in the fabric of this nation. And to my people, we don't have to fight to prove our worth. He's doing that for us. All we have to do is stand firm, stay awake, and know that the truth is finally louder than the lie. We are not broken. We are not the problem. We are the evidence of the power that this country can contain. Let that truth ring louder than its hate. Okay, I want to take a moment.
Donald Trump is the problem. Where the problem starts in the Oval Office. Donald Trump is the problem. Donald Trump is a man of no dignity or honor. He has 34 felonies. He has a wife that's not living in the White House with him. He's a miserable, fat, ugly, white man with a small penis. And President Joe Biden, right now, y'all, I gotta tell y'all this, he's doing much better. Because I had showed y'all what a week or so ago, he was out bike riding with his lovely wife, Dr. Jill Biden. Well, anyway, I'm going to let y'all know that he's actually doing better, and I'm going to read something to you, okay? So this is what's been said. And I'm going to read it to you, okay? Recently, former President Joe Biden's aggressive prostate cancer diagnosis was announced. And on Friday, he made his first public statement about his health since the news. According to ABC News, he spoke to reporters after delivering formal remarks at Memorial Day service in his home state of Delaware and said, well, the prognosis is good. You know, we're working on everything. It's moving along. So I feel good. Biden also shared that he'll be taking various medications and has decided on treatment options. He also shared one of the leading surgeons in the world will be working with him. The exception is we're going to be able to beat this. Yes. Yes, God. It is not in any organ. My bones are strong. It hasn't penetrated, so I'm feeling good, he said. As previously reported, President Joe Biden's office said he was diagnosed with prostate cancer, characterized by a Gleason score of 9, grade group 5, with metastasis to the bone. As a spokesperson said, the former president learned about the diagnosis in mid-May, had never previously been diagnosed with prostate cancer. So Donald Trump, shut your D-suckers up. Because you're up there making fun of President Joe Biden when he can get out on a bike with cancer. And you so fat, you'll break the bike. You're almost 400 pounds. What a disgrace. Running around here wearing a girdle and a pissy depends. You and Elon are compatible. You both urinate on yourself. Moving along. One moment. And in this moment of everything that's going on, because we have a nincompoop in the Oval Office, right now Trump makes bad countries look good.
Any MAGA person anywhere explain this, since Trump is virtually demanding that companies invest in America and penalizing those that don't? Why is the Trump family now
hit that like button?
Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Oman, Vietnam, Albania, Serbia, India, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Turkey, to name a few. And almost all of these developments are in countries where corruption is running rampant.
Corruption in the White House.
Can any MAGA person anywhere explain this, since Trump is virtually demanding that companies invest in America and penalizing those that don't? Why is the Trump family now developing properties in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Oman, Vietnam, Albania, Serbia, India, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Turkey, to name a few? And almost all of these developments are in countries where corruption is running rampant. Tell me, can any MAGA person anywhere explain this since Trump is virtually...
You know what it is? MAGA don't care to explain anything because they're just like Trump. They're criminals. Anybody down with Donald Trump, they're criminals too. Anything that Donald Trump is, they are. Now, Donald Trump talking about bringing jobs to America, but he's opening up businesses in other countries. Saudi Arabia, that's putting jobs in another country. Why don't you build here in America, Donald Trump? You preach something that you do not live by. You're a disgrace to America, and your whole entire family are a disgrace to the American people. You should be kicked out that Oval Office on your ASS. Crime mob in the White House. Pam Bundy sold over 1 million shares the same day Trump's tariffs were announced. Attorney General Pam Bundy sold more than 1 million worth of shares the same day that Donald Trump announced sweeping the tariffs and U.S. trading partners. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. She did worse than Martha Stewart. She knows better. She is the Attorney General. Crime mob. Do I need to say more? Crime mob in the White House. Donald Trump's entire cabinet are nothing but a bunch of criminals that have titles that they should not be even working because they did not earn those titles and they don't have the qualifications for those titles. Trump and his beautiful tariffs again.
A lie that this administration was going to bring manufacturing back to the United States. There was a lie that these tariffs were going to bring down prices for American consumers. And there was a lie that somehow this tariff war was going to make America stronger in the world. Prices have not come down. Manufacturing is not back in this country. And our allies are beginning to create new allyships and new trading partnerships because they're not certain they can rely on us. So he has to now own all of that. There was a lie that this administration was going to bring manufacturing back to the United States.
Donald Trump has no intentions on bringing manufacturing back to our country. As I stated just previously, about a minute ago, he is opening up businesses in Saudi Arabia, but he's telling his MAGA constituents, the big dummies, that he's bringing jobs to America. Where, Donnie? Where are the jobs that you have promised the American people? They don't exist. Donald Trump's hair doesn't exist. It's not real. So Trump, you're hurting the American people right now. I would love for you to keep President Joe Biden's name out your mouth, because those thin paper lip D suckers, they need to be cut off. Every time you move your mouth, you're lying.
He's been a sort of a moderate person over his lifetime, not a smart person, but a somewhat vicious person.
That's you, Donnie. Donald Trump is talking about himself.
He's vicious. What he did with his political opponent and all of the people that he hurt. He hurt a lot of people.
The pot calling the kettle black.
This just really goes to show you how terrible of a person
no self-awareness
and the difference between the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Even after President Biden was diagnosed with a serious form of prostate cancer, Donald Trump cannot bring himself to consistently wish him well and say, yeah, I feel for him. I hope he recovers. And here's the difference. After the attempts on Donald Trump's life, President Biden consistently came out and said, we're grateful he was not seriously injured, and we continue to pray for him and his family. This is what class and decency looks like. This is everything wrong with America.
That's a
circus. Bring yourself to wish your political opponent well. I'm wishing President Biden well. I'm thinking of his family frequently, and I think a lot of Americans are doing the same. But people like Donald Trump, well, they're just too narcissistic to care.
Donald Trump is an attention whore. He doesn't care about anybody else's feelings. He doesn't care that President Joe Biden is very ill, but he's making it every day and keeping a smile on his face and has a lovely wife that actually lives with him, not pretending to be in a marriage that's unhappy. His wife actually loves him. His wife will allow him to hug her. His wife will allow him to kiss her on her lips. Donnie doesn't have that, but he got different people he switched the knee pads out for because they incomplete, just they dumb like Donnie. Laura Loomer, LL Cool J, Laura Loomer, dumb. He listens to her because she wears those knee pads. His wife does not live in that Oval Office while President Joe Biden's wife lives with him. And he can touch his wife, kiss his wife. Danny, you don't have those options. I would hate to see you naked. Melania don't even want to see it, and she's married to you. She's counting the days for you to die. Everybody looking at the time clock, God, when it's going to happen. Every morning I wake up, I'm asking the Lord, Savior, when, God, when? Today, they are trolling the orange man outside of the White House. Right now, today, they are trolling Donald Trump outside the White House by playing the Canadian Pledge of Allegiance, the anthem for Canada.
Let's see this. The Canadian national anthem is being blasted outside of the White House right now as we speak to troll Donald Trump. It's too good. Just take a look.
See, we didn't have to worry about any of this with the great Barack Obama in office, the one that took us out of recession while Donald Trump is leading us down the black hole recession. We didn't have to worry about anybody outside the White House when the great President Joe Biden was in office doing anything like this, because they were two caring people that cared about the American people. Donald Trump is enriching his pockets and his family pockets while he is making the American people broker and broker. And I stand in that. So Trump, the compulsive liar, can't handle the truth. He's so dismissive. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This piece of SHIT, so dismissive.
Mr. President, after 3.5 years, do you regret it all the lying you've done to the American people?
All the what?
All the lying, all the dishonesties.
And who is that?
You
have done. Tens of
Go ahead,
thousands.
please.
so dismissive. Didn't want to answer the question because he can't handle the truth. The man that wears a pissy depends daily can't handle the truth. The man that poops on himself in his pissy depends can't handle the truth. So he's dismissive towards a reporter. He's dismissive towards the reporter because he's a brown person. And you can't tell me different. The Constitution still stands, and Trump is breaking every law. Anything that he's doing is against the Constitution.
First day in law school, in constitutional law, the very first day, they explain to you that the federal courts determine what is constitutional, not the Congress, not the president. Now, the president this week and Elon Musk and jdvance, they're very unhappy that that's the way our founding fathers constructed the Constitution. And so on birthright citizenship, they've now been blocked. On freezing all federal funds, they've now been blocked. On cutting NIH funding, they've been blocked. On getting into all of the information about every American at the Department of Treasury, violating privacy rights of all Americans, they've been blocked. So they're very unhappy. But they're unhappy because they don't like the Constitution. They don't like the checks and balances. They don't like the system that was constructed to make sure that we did not have a king. We did not have a dictator. But we had, in fact, a system that ensured that all of these constitutional rights would be protected. And so right now, they're stymied for the time being, but ultimately we know what the plot is. The plot is to get into Medicare, to get into Medicaid, to get into all of the Department of Education funding programs, to get into clean air, to get into clean water. And why? To find the hundreds of billions of dollars in order to have the tax breaks for the millionaires and billionaires. So they're right now frustrated by the courts, but we're saying, no, there are safeguards, there are procedures. There are laws on the books that have been passed by Congress and signed by presidents that block you from doing this, Mr. President. And they're very unhappy, but they're only unhappy because the United States Constitution is blocking them from doing what is illegal and unconstitutional. On your first day in law school, in constitutional.
And he insists on calling our girl, Jasmine Crockett, low IQ. Donnie, you just in that office because there's so many racist people in America. Because if it actually went by IQ and for you to qualify, you would not be in that Oval Office. You can barely get out of that seat that you sit in because you're so fat, you get stuck in it. You have to ask for someone to help you get out your seat. And they dread pulling you up out of that seat because you smell so bad. And it's so bad in that Oval Office, you have to ask them to help you get out of your pissy pants. If you only had a brain. I'm about to show you something. Says the colonizer who keeps admitting, and I'm going to keep showing you this so you can get the message that the election was rigged. This comes from the colonizer in the Oval Office, sitting in a seat that he can barely get out of.
We have a very, very special day coming up. You know, we have a lot of them during this term. And interestingly, I had none of them had I not had a rigged election. Had the election not been rigged, I would have been out of here. I would have been gone. The radical left would have said, we got rid of him. Finally.
I would have loved it.
But no, now they have me for another 4 years. We talk about that. And in the other 4 years, you know, I sort of said, I got the Olympics to come in and I got the World.
The Olympics may not even come. And I don't blame them. They shouldn't even bother come to a country where they're of brown people and black people from other countries and get harassed by racist white people and the likes of Donald J. Trump. I hope they bail out. And Danny, your birthday is going to be pure hell. You having that parade, everybody on social media will be celebrating President Barack Obama. And also they will be celebrating our new Pope, the one that's of mixed race of black and brown. Now, this queen right here, when she's talking, she's telling the truth about the colonizers. Again, Donald Trump is a colonizer. That White House is nothing but a plantation. All plantations are White Houses, and they shall be destroyed. God move fast. Godspeed.
The only reason that white people in the United States or anywhere we are, in Europe, in Africa, in Australia, in Israel, wherever we are the colonizers. We are the colonizers, and we live off the expense.
White people are colonizers.
Europe's assault on Africa, the kidnapping of African human beings, the trafficking, all of these things that we hear today. This is where it came from. Hundreds of years of assaulting and stealing everything that African people and Africa as a continent had, and putting it into the hands of white people. And so this is why, as the chairman has said, the true class struggle, the true working class in the world is the African and colonized working class. Yes. Not white people, because all white people, and you know this is true. You and I know this is true by just living our lives and seeing it. All white people sit on the pedestal, on the backs of African and indigenous people. And, you know, the statistics are that even poor white people have an easier ability in a crisis to raise $3,000 in an emergency than middle-class African people do. Yeah. Because we live in social wealth. Yeah. We live with the wealth surround. The only reason that white people in the United States or anywhere we are, in Europe, in Africa, in Australia, in Israel, wherever we are the colonizers.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen. And I always have my third eye on you. I'm nice to you because of the love of God. And I love everybody, but I got my third eye on you. I could never trust you. Because if it come down to anything, you're going to put yourself above me. Very few white people are honest like this queen. She's very honest. Prove us wrong. If you're not colonizers, show us it never happened. Although you try your best to erase Black history. And now you want to teach this young white youth that it never happened. Tell it to your mama. You're a piece of shit. So Trump is definitely corrupted, and I'm going to show you something.
People give Trump enough credit for how innovative his corruption is this time around. When Trump announced his sweeping global tariffs, a lot of people, including me, said that it was about setting up a petition the king type system where countries had to come to Trump personally to make deals. But the degree to which countries are literally throwing cash at him personally is truly bonkers. Take Vietnam, for example. Trump originally proposed a 46% tariff on Vietnam, which exports more to the US than any other country. So when Trump paused these tariffs, countries like Vietnam lined up to negotiate deals. But instead of making concessions to the United States, countries like Vietnam are just making concessions to Trump and his allies. Vietnam literally broke their own country's laws so that they could fast-track a $1.5 billion Trump golf resort, explicitly stating that it was because the project was, quote, receiving special attention from the Trump administration and President Donald Trump personally. But Vietnam is just one of at least 20 countries currently developing Trump-branded properties or projects during Trump's ongoing trade
Trump
war,
taking jobs
Serbia,
out of the United
Indonesia,
States.
and a bunch of countries in the Middle East that I've already talked about. And building international properties is just one of Trump's ongoing scams. Countries are also throwing billions at his family's crypto venture, all while Trump uses the full weight of the presidency to artificially inflate crypto prices. And Trump is not just notching sweetheart deals for himself. He's also getting countries to throw billions at his ally Elon Musk. In the last couple weeks alone, Musk's company Starlink has announced deals in Vietnam, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and the African country of Lesotho. Here's the thing. Trump being corrupt is already baked into the minds of a lot of voters. But this isn't everyday corruption. Trump is imposing a massive tax on the American people with these tariffs and using it to set up the biggest corruption scheme in American history. And voters need to hear about it, so share this video and follow me for more on Trump's corruption agenda. I don't think people give Trump enough credit for.
See, it's not just me telling y'all the truth about the corruption in the Oval Office. The corruption of Donald Trump is real. You could write plenty of books and have several series and even write a movie and a TV series off of Donald Trump and his corruption. His entire family is corrupted. The canceling of the terrors, the taco, Donnie boy, Trump always chicken out. I got more of that, baby. We're going to get a good laugh in right quick.
Nobody lays eggs better than me. Believe me, especially when it comes to canceling tariffs. It will be the most beautiful canceled tariff you've ever seen. I call it eggnomics. You may not know that term. I actually just came up with it. Very advanced stuff. Nobody lays eggs better than me. Believe me, especially when it comes to canceling tariffs. It will be the most beautiful canceled tariff you've ever seen.
The orange buffoon is now a taco. The orange buffoon is Donald Trump. The guy that wears a Depends. The guy that has 34 felonies. The guy that has essay on his record. The guy that said that his daughter has nice legs. The guy that says when his daughter was just a toddler that she doesn't have boobies yet. The guy that kisses on his daughter and touch her behind in such a strange, disgusting way. The guy that has 34 felonies, but want to tell other people they are criminals when they haven't committed any crimes and have them thrown in El Salvador. The guy that needs to be behind bars in El Salvador himself. That is Donald Trump. Taco Man.
We're confused about what's going on in the world today. I know it is because you did not read Dr. Mary Trump's book, Too Much and Never Enough, How My Family Created the World's Most Dangerous Man. Mary Trump is the niece of Donald Trump. And in this, she chronicles his life and lays out how he is a malignant narcissist. Now, I know a lot of people throw that word around.
He's a
narc. Just because somebody got on your nerves real bad or was very selfish to you does not make them a narcissist. But Dr. Mary Trump, who grew up with this man and ultimately went to college and graduated and got certified to diagnose people with it, has herself called him a malignant narcissist. So everything that he's doing is making a lot of sense. Let's get into it. 4 soldiers who were killed were being brought back to the U.S., and it's customary for the president to go to the airport in Delaware and greet them, right? Trump did not do that. He went golfing, and then on Sunday he came back and they asked him, because our Sunday is another country's Monday, and their market started tanking. Japan was like, this shit is dropping, right? So they asked him about the markets and the tariffs and how does he feel about it, and this is what he had to say.
Pain in the market. At some point you're unwilling to tolerate this idea of what Trump put. Is there a threshold?
I think your question is so stupid. I mean, I think it's I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. In the midst of people losing jobs and people losing money in their 401ks, people not being able to retire because of it, this man said, well, sometimes you got to take a little medicine on tariffs that he himself.
But he's getting richer and richer.
But these are symptoms of a malignant narcissist. Abusing people, obsessed with power. Everything is personal. They hold grudges and take revenge. It's literally him. Dr. Trump is probably the only one in that family who has some sense. She very aptly laid out the groundwork of how he was created. And the only person who can save us from Donald Trump is his father, and he is dead. His mom, if his mama was alive, she would be somewhere on lorazepam. She reminds, the way Mary describes her, it sounds like the mother on White Lotus. Like she didn't participate in the rearing of her children. And his father let him get away with so much. He saw the sadistic nature and encouraged it. He allowed the younger brother to bully Fred Trump Jr., the older brother. This is a really good read, and it really gives you insight into why he is the way he is. If you are confused about what's going on in the world,
oh baby, we're not confused. And I'll go on YouTube and watch Mary Trump, Dr. Mary Trump. You will learn a lot. She has a YouTube channel. I go on and I watch it, and I learned a lot from her about Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a disgrace to America. He is a nasty man. Nasty is one of his favorite words. Well, Donnie boy, I'm going to take what you say to others and use it against you. You are a nasty man. You're fat. You low IQ. So we're going to hear a little bit about what Jasmine Crockett and Trump, Jasmine Crockett's education. Molly, watch, you're low IQ. Because he calls her low IQ. Let me tell you something. When Black people go to school for something at a university, we have to work 10 times harder than the white constituent. And most of the time, we outsmart them at everything.
So today, Trump called a sitting U.S. Congresswoman a low IQ person, and she fired back harder than anyone expected. During an interview on Meet the Press, Trump mocked Representative Jasmine Crockett, one of the boldest Democrat voices in Congress right now. He said she's low IQ and dismissed her as a future party leader, but Crockett didn't flinch. She clapped back online. She said, and I quote, "Every time you say my name, you're reminding the world that you're terrified of smart, bold Black women telling the truth and holding you accountable." And then she dared him to take a public IQ test. This isn't the first time Trump's attacked women of color, but Crockett isn't backing down. And this might have even just launched her into the national spotlight. If you want the full updates, I'm going to be posting everything on my Instagram and Substack right now. So make sure that you guys follow me there. Okay, bye. Yeah, so today Trump called a...
Donnie. See, he shut his mouth. When she wanted him to do an IQ test against her, Donnie shut them D-suckers up, those paper-thin lips. He shut them up. I will outdo Donald Trump in an IQ test, and I'm not nowhere near rich. You don't have to have a lot of money to have a high IQ. Donnie does not have a high IQ, not with a GPA 1.28. Donnie, you're dumb. Your father was dumb. Your mama was dumb. They was just white. And in the eyes of a white male, white is right. But that doesn't mean white is right. Because there's Black people out here that just is more intelligent, a lot more intelligent than you, Donnie. And Jasmine Crockett is one of them. VP Kamalaharris is one of them. Barack Obama, a Harvard graduate, is one of them. Michelle Obama, a Harvard graduate is one of them. His daughter, Malia, attending Harvard University, has a higher IQ than you, Dunny. The other daughter, Sasha, has a higher IQ than you. So we're going to talk a little bit about Elon and his illegal activities with Doge, okay?
Elon Musk finally called it quits. What if I told you that Chief Justice John Roberts 40 years ago foreshadowed what Elon Musk was trying to do, and he warned his boss, then Ronald Reagan, that it was not a good idea. It was totally a conflict of interest, unethical, and unlawful. Yeah, that's right. So J. Peter Grace was a billionaire who offered to Ronald Reagan to make government more efficient and said, yeah, I'm going to make some cuts. So he got together a bunch of other rich people who form a committee and get together and make some recommendations. They did so. After they were done, the recommendations were presented to Ronald Reagan. And before Ronald Reagan could implement them, he asked his clerk, John Roberts, do you think that's a great idea? John Roberts, in a memo, also referencing the counsel for White House, said that because there's this thing called Federal Advisory Commission rules that Congress enacted, said there would be too much conflict because the members of the committee had conflicts of interest. Similarly, Elon Musk had a lot of conflicts as a government contractor in deciding what gets cut and what doesn't get cut. And therefore, even though Elon Musk has quit, he is still arguably susceptible for the conflict of interest and all the laws that he violated when he did what he did, chopping off those agencies, firing those people, dismantling those agencies, every single thing he does. He can run, but he cannot hide. Now, the statute of limitations for violations is 5 years. More importantly, what do you think is going to happen when all those various different lawsuits related to Doge and Elon Musk's activities percolate their way up to the United States Supreme Court to be discussed on a substantive basis? Do you think Chief Justice John Roberts is going to convince at least one of his conservative justices to join him with the liberal justice to determine that what he decided and what he said 40 years ago still holds true, that the legal limitations and the conflicts of interest regarding Doge and Elon Musk persist and would have blocked all of Doge's activities? We'll see. So Elon Musk finally called it.
Elon Musk needs to be locked up. Donald Trump needs to be locked up. And I honestly believe it's going to happen soon. If Donnie don't clunk out of here, if God don't take his soul and throw him in the trash soon, I believe something is going to happen. Because there's no way we can live in this country and let them keep committing crimes. Crime mob in the White House. One moment. So we're going to talk about little Marco Rubio, the little Cuban boy. He reminds me of the song, Come They Told Me, Pa-rum-pa-bum-bum. So we're going to listen to a little bit of Marco Rubio, the truth, but he knows the truth about Trump, but yet he lives Trump's lies. Hold on.
Just a quick reminder that the next time you hear Marco Rubio say anything, refer back to this clip from 2016.
You compared Donald Trump to a third world dictator yesterday in an interview with the New York Times. How so?
Well, I don't know about a dictator. I said a third world strongman. He's running for president, so no matter what, he won't be a dictator unless our republic completely crumbles, which I don't anticipate it will. But yeah, here's what happens in many countries around the world. You have a leader that emerges and basically says, don't put your faith in yourselves, don't put your faith in society, put your faith in me. I'm a strong leader, and I'm going to make things better all by myself. This is very typical. You see it in the third world. You see it a lot in Latin America for decades. It's basically the argument he's making that he single-handedly is going to turn the country around. We've never been that kind of country. We have a president. The president is an American citizen who serves for a period of time, constrained by the constitutions and the powers vested in that office. The president works for the people, not the people for the president. And if you listen to the way he describes himself and what he's going to do, he's going to single-handedly do this and do that without regard for whether it's legal or not. Look, I think people are going to have to make up their mind. I can tell you this. no matter what happens in this election, for years to come, there are many people on the right, in the media, and voters at large that are going to be having to explain and justify how they fell into this trap of supporting Donald Trump, because this is not going to end well one way or the other.
Just a quick reminder that the next time you hear
Marco Rubio, you have no soul. You fall for the banana in the tailpipe, and you like the banana in your tailpipe. The whole Republican MAGA party men like the banana in their tailpipe. They like the Grinder app. They like Big Black Eggplant, Stephen Miller, Mike Johnson. They like the way it feels in their mouth. Marco Rubio, the one that was at a steaming hot party, steam party with a bunch of males. I don't care if you're married. White married men, they love a little eggplant and ping sometimes. Marco Rubio. Now you decide to work in his cabinet because you was asked to come and work in the cabinet. You could have turned it down because you always known the truth about Donald Trump. He wants to be a strong man, a dictator. He's actually a dick, not a dictator. So a little bit on Caroline Lovett, the dumb blonde that didn't want the black man standing next to her. Girl, he ain't want to be standing next to you neither because you ain't got nothing in the back. Because black men like women with some booty. Like mine, big, the round. He didn't want to be near you. He was just doing his job. And you're going to be complaining, pointing to him. You didn't want him near you. You bareback monkey.
How many people has he fired?
These children are smarter than Caroline. Listen.
Thus far, actually, we have not had anyone fired, with the exception
She
of
lying
one
to
individual
children.
who
They
did leave
outsmart
their
her.
job. What is Donald Trump going to do about climate change? What is Donald Trump going to do about climate change? Well, that is a very good question. The president cares very much about our environment. He says all the time he wants to have the cleanest
Lying
air,
to children.
the cleanest water, the cleanest environment for the world. He also cares very
She
much
would
about
answer
our
any
energy
black
independence
children.
and ensuring that we can keep the lights on in our homes.
Such a racist.
At a very cheap rate. So we want to make energy here in the United States because we do it cleaner and better than everyone.
Caroline Lovett would not answer a question from a black child. See, the thing with racists, they can't hide it. It doesn't matter what it is. They would not be able to hide that they are racist. They can't stand black people, so they just can't help but to show they are racist. You hate black people because we don't age like you. Caroline Lovett, if she wasn't getting Botox and she young. See, y'all start aging at 25. I'm 51, don't have any wrinkles, never have Botox or fillers. This child right here is getting Botox and fillers. And she's married to a much older man. So why would you go get Botox and fillers? Because your skin cannot handle the truth. So yes, this queen right here, she's dragging Donnie through the town, and I'm loving it. So again, we are celebrating President Barack Obama on Donald Trump's birthday. Don't you forget that. If I got to get balloons and put them back on my desk chair, I'm going to do it. We're going to celebrate. I'm going to try to go live earlier and stay on, do like a marathon if I can. And we're going to celebrate President Barack Obama while Donald Trump is having his parade. We're going to have our own celebration. So I welcome this lady. She can join us, okay?
Drag his ass out of Washington! Drag his ass out of Washington! Drag his ass out of Washington! Drag his ass out of Washington!
I love it. Every time I see that, it makes me smile. It warms my little country girl heart. Yes, it does. It really warms my heart. So we're going to, this is a reminder who Trump really is, a subliminal message. I'm going to show you this several times because we got to get that white monkey out of the Oval Office, the one that wears hair pieces and wear black people makeup. We got to get him out of there.
Arabia giving $25 million.
He go against himself.
All of these countries. These are people that kill women and treat women horribly, and yet you take their money. Not a gift to me. It's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better. Why don't you give back the money that you've taken from certain countries that treat certain groups of people so horribly? You should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, don't give us. I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. Why don't you give back the money? I think it would be a great gesture. I thought it was a beautiful gesture. Now, there are those that say we shouldn't be accepting gifts to the Defense Department. And I would say only a stupid person would say that. It should have never happened. And I think you owe an explanation to the American people. We're giving to everybody else. Why wouldn't I accept the gift? If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo.
Well, Donnie is definitely quid pro quo. Quid pro quo. That's what it is. No holding back. Donnie, you are a shame to America. Everything you spoke upon against Hillary, you're doing it. That's what white people do. I hate to tell y'all the truth. Y'all do that. Everything y'all say about black people doing, you're doing it. More about Trump and his lies.
It's a hot day in South Africa, and Donald Trump has just come on air to say that he has seen the terrible things going on in South Africa. I live here, and I haven't really seen the terrible things he speaks about. I'm continually amazed at the disinformation that this man sends. I'm amazed that anyone would believe him. We in South Africa are laughing. We honestly are. But what worries me most is that you Americans seem to believe him. Even statements about your own country, you believe that he's doing the best thing. I feel very sad for you and very down. I hope you can get this man out one way or the other.
Honey, we trying to get him out of there, sir. We want Donald Trump gone so bad. Every day I get up, I'm telling y'all the truth. I'm like, okay, God, is he gone yet? What time is it? Is he gone yet, God? Please make us happy, Lord Jesus Christ. Take him out of here. We're tired. The American people are tired of Donald J. Trump. We're tired of seeing that ugly face. We're tired of hearing his voice, Lord. Come, Lord. Come and take him. Take him to purgatory. Hell, take him. The likes of Donald Trump disgust me all the way down to my bones. Take him, God.
He gets paid by companies and countries who want to avoid paying tariffs. We get stuck paying higher prices because of tariffs. He gets lower taxes for himself, his businesses, and fellow billionaires. We get fewer government services. He gets to hire unethical, unqualified individuals. We get questioned about our qualifications if we're a minority or a woman. He gets a $400 million plane. We get cutbacks at the FAA and increased danger and flying delays. He gets a $45 million military parade for his birthday. We get dramatic cuts to veterans' benefits. He gets to lie with impunity. We can now get fired for telling the truth. He gets billions from his crypto scam. We get a weaker dollar, downgraded credit rating, and prolonged higher interest rates. He gets away with all of his crimes. We can get sent to rot in jail in El Salvador without due process. He is for himself always and forever. Do you agree? He gets paid by companies and countries.
Donald Trump works for the American people, but he has convinced MAGA that the people work for him, because that's an attitude of a king or a dictator like Vladimir Putin. And we all know Donald Trump is not a strong man. He cosplays being a strong man while wearing a pissy depends. He's still a 2-year-old running around in a diaper, pretending to be President Barack Obama, running around wearing black people makeup daily. Donald Trump uses the Oval Office to only enrich his family.
Is staggering. President Trump and his family are making hundreds of millions, potentially billions of dollars, as Trump and his administration take official actions that benefit contributors and investors. Just this week, we learned of pardons to tax cheats, including a man whose pardon was granted weeks after his mother attended a $1 million head fundraiser with the president. The Trump Media and Technology Group raised nearly $2.5 billion from 50 institutional investors whose identities have not been disclosed. The SEC dropped its lawsuit against the cryptocurrency firm Binance days after Binance began listing the cryptocurrency.
Hello, Queen Aloha Kitty.
The crypto firm started by Trump's family. This unprecedented money making by a sitting president and his family, summarized by critics like The Atlantic's David Frum. Nothing like this has been attempted or even imagined in the history of the American presidency, he writes. Throw away the history books, discard feeble comparisons to scandals of the past. There is no analogy with any previous action by any past president. The brazenness of the self-enrichment resembles nothing seen in any earlier White House. This is American corruption on the scale of a post-Soviet republic or a post-colonial African dictatorship. That's where we begin this week. Scale is staggering. President Trump and his family are making hundreds of millions, potentially billions.
They're making hundreds of millions of dollars while the American people are suffering. They have made so many cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP for people that need it. Cutting school lunches, etc. Thank you, Aloha Kitty. Love you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you, Queen. Donald Trump doesn't care about the American people. And what's so sad, a vast majority of his people, MAGA, really think this man cares about them. He has showed them repeatedly he cares nothing about them. The dumb gets dumber. So, MAGA is a false god, and I totally agree.
MAGA movement is a false god and is a false idol. And to let a picture prove my point, let's look at a picture that I would like to show you. The picture on the left is the ancient Israelites worshiping the golden calf. The picture on the right is the golden Trump. This is an AI-generated video, image still, that was released by the White House about Trump's Gaza. That is Trump's plan to get rid of Palestinians and to make Gaza into a resort. The MAGA movement is a false idol. Human beings want to do this, you see. We are given the path of love and liberation. We are given the path of progress. And all too often, the path that we choose is the path of regression. The MAGA movement is a false god and is a...
I rest my case. I rest my case. The MAGA movement is a false god. And Donald Trump is not the second coming of Jesus Christ. That's blasphemy. You're not going to heaven, MAGA. You're going straight to hell, while some of y'all souls will be lost in purgatory. And that's pretty bad. Some of y'all are reprobated minds. So even if right now you pray to God, it will land on deaf ears. God will never hear you again, MAGA, because you took a prophet and made him your God. God don't see you or hear you, MAGA. You don't exist. So Trump is getting richer off the White House position as the leader of this country, while the American people are becoming poor.
This dude is Steve Witkoff. This dude is Eric Trump. Wait, I think that's an old picture.
Ugh.
Yes, this is Eric Trump.
He's gross looking.
Eric and Zaki are business partners in a crypto business. This one, World Liberty Financial, The Trump family owns 60% of this business and gets 75% of the net revenue from the business.
Crime
This is
mob.
Eric and Zach on stage in Dubai yesterday, where it was announced that the UAE's ruling family will use $2 billion of Trump family crypto to invest in another crypto company, Binance, which incidentally recently paid a $4.3 billion fine for violating money laundering laws, but that's another story. Now, it's speculated that the Trump family is likely to make, get this, $75 million from this deal yesterday while doing virtually nothing. And if the UAE's rulers wanted to invest in Binance, they could have done so with cash and didn't have to pay the Trump family all of that money. But wait, that's not the end of the story. This is Zach's daddy, Steve Witkoff, who is Donald Trump's friend and just coincidentally happens to be America's special envoy to the Middle East. So the fathers of these two knuckleheads are making U.S. policy with the Middle East. And here's another picture of Steve Witkoff with, guess who? Jared Kushner from season 1 of the Trump debacle. And Jared coincidentally got $3 billion from Arab countries just 6 months after he left the White House. And speaking of the Trump family making money, there's Eric again in the Middle East. They're likely to make a ton of money from this deal with a Qatar-backed government firm, incidentally. And all of this is great timing, since in 2 weeks, the Donald himself is going to visit Qatar and the UAE and Saudi Arabia, where incidentally, the Trump family has 2 new projects in the works. So in conclusion, maybe it's impossible to drain the swamp when you're doing so much business in the desert. What do you think?
And Elon Musk and Doge supposed to be cleaning the swamp, when the swamp is Donald J. Trump and his family and all of his Republican MAGA party. They are the swamp, endangering the American people. So the oligarchies are dangerous to the American people. They have no good intentions for the Americans.
Well, 8 billion people allow 100 families to control them. 8 billion people are being controlled by 100 families. Who are these families? These are the elite oligarchs that control the planet. You know, they literally run us. They tell us what to do, hear, see, smell, taste, touch, feel, where we can go, where we can't go. Don't cross over that invisible line, because if you do, you know, you're illegal and all this other kind of crazy stuff. They're running us, and governments are put in place to work for the people, but they got it flipped and they got us working for them. Right. And telling us what they're going to do to us if we don't listen to them. That's the opposite of what it's supposed to be. The problem, the reason why the world it is today, why we have this boot on our neck, is because of us. We're the problem. The 8 billion are the problem. Not we haven't elevated our consciousness to the level that they're sharks. A shark smells blood, a shark attacks. Right. A shark is going to be a shark. How come we as 8 billion people haven't stopped falling for these divide and conquer tactics and stop fighting each other over the scraps and realize who the real enemy is? While we're fighting each other, they're just cutting up the pie and laughing at us. Left wing, right wing, all
That's
the same
Donnie.
word, right? There's no such thing as a Democrat or Republican. The only thing that does exist, like I say, is a group of elite oligarchs that torture men, women, and children worldwide. That exists. Democrat, Republican doesn't exist.
More and more people are seeing through the illusion. You ready to wake up? Comment book and uncover everything you know the only truth.
That is what's happening in the MAGA Republican Party right now. Billionaires have positions they do not qualify for. Donald Trump children have positions they do not qualify for. Pam Bundy, who was the lobbyist for Qatar, should not be in the position she has. None of Donald Trump's cabinet members, not even P-head, want to be a woman, jdvance, should not be in the Oval Office as well. None of these people deserve to have their positions. So MAGA Republican Party are nothing but huge liars.
FBI director was just caught lying to us about Jeffrey Epstein on national television. I'm going to break down the body language for you in the next 30 seconds. Check this out.
Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it. Well, I mean, listen, they
Watch his
have a right
eyes.
to their
His
opinion, but
eyes
as
make me
someone who has
dizzy.
worked as a public defender.
Bam. Okay, right there. That's a really key piece of body language. It's called an eyebrow flash. Eyebrows go up. This is what you do when you lie. Like, hey, do you believe me? Do you believe me? And then he goes, hey, as someone who's worked as XYZ, like, I am so credible, so you should believe me, and eyebrows go up. Watch this.
There is a prosecutor who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing. You know a suicide when...
Now, look, he's going to say, you know a suicide when you see one, and then look at his lips. They're about to squeeze tightly together. Look at this. That's called a lip compression that happens after someone lies.
His eyes make my head hurt.
Bam, right there, right there. You see the pressure? And then this guy's the worst fucking liar ever. Oh my God, thank God. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this.
He killed himself. Again.
He's blinking his eyes while saying it.
He says he killed himself, but then nods. No, and then also look at how fast he blinks. Like he's having a fucking panic attack. You blink faster when you're stressed. He's stressed because he's lying. Look.
Again, you want me to get...
Look at him blinking.
I've seen the whole
You want me to get... I've seen the whole file. He killed himself. Guys, what happened? This guy got into office to get rid of the deep state and to expose these things, and suddenly he's lying on national television about it. How the fuck did he get compromised? The FBI director was just caught lying to us about Jeffrey Epstein.
He is compromised because Donald Trump put him in that position. All of Donald Trump picks a crime mob. MAGA is crime mob. MAGA is a terroristic group. So, the perfect example of white privilege.
I saw a video on my timeline and it was of Barack Obama. And he said, if I was to do what is being done right now, could you imagine? And at first the crowd laughed because yes, we know my brother, we know, we understand. But then he got really serious. He was like, no, listen, could you imagine if I would have done what is being done right now? And I've always said this, even during the election time, I said that a message is being sent to Black people, but not only that, this entire election is triggering for Black women. And what I mean when I say that, we all grew up thinking we have to be twice as good to get half as far. And because of that, a lot of us have resumes for jobs that don't make sense. When you look at the jobs that we apply to and that we're going for, and you look at our resume, it's like
we're
you need to shoot
overqualified.
a little bit higher. You know what I'm saying? They don't match up. So here it is, a Black woman
Hey, King
going
LaSwan.
up against a man for a job he is clearly not qualified for. Not only that, his plans for the nation have constantly been critiqued and proven to not be the best thing for America. Yet he was still given the job, even though he was not qualified. And every day he gets the freedom to make a spectacle of what it means to be the president of the United States of America. He disrespects traditions and norms. He won't even take time out his day to greet service members that have given their ultimate sacrifice for this country. And nobody bats an eye. Nobody says anything. Nobody freaks out. But we all remember the hell that broke loose when Obama wore a tan suit. We all remember how they constantly misgendered his wife, critiqued her outfits, critiqued her hair. And she was one of the more progressive first ladies
more
we have
educated.
ever had. Look at all of the things she got done when she was in the White House. What is our current first lady doing?
Nothing at
She's
Mar-a-Lago.
with her first lady duties. Yet nobody bats an eye. Nobody says anything. I saw a video on my timeline and it was of
This is America. America right now is a shameful place to live. Before Donald Trump got back in that Oval Office, I felt safe. I no longer feel safe in America. And it's not about a brown person that's a Muslim doing anything to me. That I'm not afraid of. I trust them before I would trust a white man. The white man is targeting black and brown people. There's a black genocide in America. There's a brown genocide in America.
Biggest executive orders that Trump has signed that I had a problem with was pardoning all the January 6th rioters, right?
Criminals.
These were legitimate criminals. The January 6th ordeal was not something to be taken lightly. You literally had your supporters breaking into the Capitol, hurting cops, storming all
This is who Donald Trump is. This is who MAGA is. J6ers are ICE.
What's happened after all of those people got pardoned? Tons of them are getting arrested for violent crimes, DUIs. Like, they're just flat out scumbag criminals, and he pardoned all of them. Cop killers. It's such a big issue, and the right literally brushes it under the rug like it's no big deal. And I'm like, guys, these are criminals, and he just pardoned all of them, not some of them. He didn't even bother looking at, maybe there was a portion of them that were just like, they're protesting, and like maybe it wasn't that big of an offense, right? Let's actually look at it. No, just flat out, they're all good to go, and we're seeing the impacts of that. They literally came right back out and started committing crimes, because that's what criminals do. Do you think any of the J6ers should have been pardoned? I don't know how to answer the question, because the reality is there were a lot of people there, and it's like looking at the percentage of them that maybe would have done something super wrong, like break into the building or actually attack a cop. It was a chaotic riot. I don't know how to dissect who was doing super wrong stuff, kind of wrong stuff. And so because you cannot make those discernments, probably the best move is to just not do it. One of the biggest executive orders that Trump has signed that I had a problem with was pardoning all the January 6th rioters. Right?
Baby, we all got a problem with that. Hold on, y'all. My phone is going dead. Hold on. Just a moment. Can y'all hear me? Because I had to put my phone on the charger. Let me know if you can hear me. Queen Victoria's one, can you hear me? Thank you, beautiful. We will resume. Let me get comfortable. Whew. Sorry. I had to move my chair up to the desk. So Trump is putting a false narrative out there about blacks. But the J6ers are the most violent people, KKK and the Proud Boys. They are a terroristic group. The white man, because it's him that's out there doing these things, he's a J6er, KKK, Proud Boys, they won't be labeled terroristic groups because the white man can't stand when somebody tells the truth about him. One moment.
Crime is most rampant right here and in African American communities, and more people see me and they say, sir, we want protection. We want police to
Black people have not told Donald Trump this BS. Donald Trump tell lies.
Because we want to walk across the street to buy a loaf of bread. They want it so badly.
That's a lie. Black people don't even like Donald Trump.
Law enforcement more than any other population. So
did you just hear that? Let me get this straight. So the other day, he signed an executive order that's giving police accused of misconduct free attorney services. And now he's talking about releasing the police in the black community under the guise that...
Black people have not asked for any of this.
No, this brother right here is a representation of the black community.
He did what needed to be done.
You take out one of mine, I'm taking out one.
An eye for an eye.
why are the police...
Black people did not ask for that. Donald Trump is such a compulsive liar. That is his way of targeting black people. He is putting black people in harm's way because a white police officer does not like black people. They are more than likely a vast majority are KKK. Trump is all about Trump grifting. So compare the two, Biden and Trump, and this is what you get. While Biden worked for greater good, Donald Trump works for greater grift. His entire family, his entire cabinet. Hold on.
This is office in. We have breaking news right now. Federal officials entered a member of Congress's office in New York and detained one of his staffers, claiming that the staffers were harboring rioters, but there were no reports of riots.
But they didn't do this to
This
J6ers.
happened at Congressman Jerry Nadler's office. He's a Democrat in New York. And the video that they captured shows one of the staffers being handcuffed and crying. She was not arrested and was not charged, but it was a traumatic incident nonetheless. And these were Department of Homeland Security officials. Congressman Nadler just put out a statement saying that President Trump and the Department of Homeland Security are sowing chaos in our communities, using intimidation tactics against both citizens and non-citizens in a reckless and dangerous manner. In the most recent and troubling incident, DHS agents forcefully entered my congressional office and handcuffed a member of my staff. He goes on to say, if this can happen in a member of Congress's office, it can happen to anyone, and it's happening. They had no reason to handcuff this staffer. They did so anyway. Spread the word so more people know, and follow along for all the news that you need to know about. More to come soon. We have breaking news right now.
Fair use, educational purpose, and great for research. We got to do our part. 2026 is when we vote those Congress members out of there. That MAGA Republican Congress members, they got to go. We have an election here in Atlanta, Georgia, June the 17th. But try your best to early vote. It's imperative that you vote. We cannot allow this regime to continue. We cannot allow the black genocide to continue. We cannot allow the brown genocide to continue. It is our duty to do what is right for this country, because we don't have anybody that's a leader in that Oval Office doing what's right for America. Donald Trump hates black people. Donald Trump hates brown people, and we must fight to get him out of there.
Some breaking news right now. The Chinese government is accusing the Trump administration of violating their trade truce with China, saying and vowing, quote, resolute and forceful measures. The Chinese spokesperson alleged that the United States had, quote, seriously undermined and, quote, violated the trade agreement by issuing, quote, export control guidelines for AI chips, stopping the sale of chip design software to China, and announcing the revocation of visas for Chinese students. And now the spokesperson is saying that China will launch forceful measures against the United States. Now, here's the deal. You know what suffers if China and the United States don't reach an agreement? TikTok, because TikTok is at the center of any deal, any trade deal between China and the United States. And if no trade deal is executed in the next several months, then TikTok could be banned in the United States. And right now, it looks as though China-U.S. relations...
Donald Trump wants TikTok to sell to an American company. American greed. The white man is greedy. And what would destroy this country is the white man's greed. We see it now. Donald Trump is all about enriching his pockets and his young children, his children's pockets, his family pockets, and his rich constituents that are billionaires that he have given positions to in his cabinet. He's not about the American people. He doesn't stand for the American people. Again, we will be celebrating President Barack Obama on June the 14th, which is whose birthday? Donald J. Trump's birthday, but we will not be celebrating Donald Trump. This is who we will be celebrating.
In America seems to love Obama, except for these three big names who absolutely can't stand him. Number one, Elon Musk. Obama pushed for clean energy, but only gave Tesla a $4.5 billion loan. That really ticked off Musk, who called Obama a fraud. Musk even skipped out on the Obama Foundation dinner because of it. Number two,
we don't give a fuck.
During Obama's time in office, he raised taxes on the rich to 39.6%. That made Koch Industries cough up an extra $1.2 billion in taxes. Charles Koch went public, calling Obama's policy anti-business socialism, and even spent $300 million backing groups that lobbied against him. Number three, Sheldon Adelson. This casino tycoon took a major hit when Obama cracked down on overseas gambling. Adelson personally shelled out $150 million to support Romney against Obama. He also ran 97 editorials slamming Obama's policies in the Las Vegas Review-Journal. Even on his deathbed, he called Obama a disaster for the American economy. So, do you like Obama?
But he took us out of recession.
Everyone in America seems to love Obama, except for these.
They want to talk smack about President Obama. We're going to celebrate him more. We're going to rejoice him more and lift him up in the name of Jesus. We're going to rejoice and celebrate Barack Obama on Donald Trump's birthday. We're going to treat it as if it's President Barack Obama's birthday. Danny boy, we smell you through my phone. Danny boy, I smell you through my air conditioned vent. Danny boy, suck one. I want to thank each and every last one of y'all for coming to my live. And remember, I want y'all to remember this. We will be celebrating President Barack Obama on Donald Trump's birthday. I'm going to get some balloons, and I hope I don't forget. I'm going to get some balloons so we can celebrate a great man. We can celebrate somebody that brought us out of a recession while Donald Trump is dumping our heads daily in the water, putting us in a recession, and we can't breathe. I can't breathe. We are on one knee. I can't breathe. The white man has his knee across our neck. We can't breathe. The white man is greedy and he's destroying this country. We can't breathe. Bye, you guys.